Just give me a second. It's taking its sweet ass time.
What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. This is the latest edition of Real Estate Uncensored, where you get actionable ideas, tactics, and strategies to turn your real estate career into a lifestyle of freedom. Investing is part of that, and we're going to talk with some young guns in the investing scene here today. We don't talk a lot about investing on the show, but there is a completely alternate or complementary path to freedom in real estate, and that's what these guys are going to talk about, how to get into it as a young gun, how to use shared housing to get into it and be profitable and get cash flow on your first few deals. They're also the hosts of a podcast called Millennial Flips. And so not only are they fellow young guns in real estate, but they are young guns in the podcasting game. So we've got them coming on in a second. First of all, the ultimate young gun, the junior grandmaster himself, armed as always with his wit and wits. And well, we'll see if he has his wits about him. I don't know if he had a kiss. I don't know if you actually had your carrot juice today. Well, you may have your wit, but no wits. We'll see. Greg Mataniel, what's up?
Johnson, do you think I'd come to a podcast not armed with my carrot juice? Bitch, please. That point. Is like this is just to piss you off, because I know I'm going to come swinging at you today. I have so much cool shit going on, man. It is just a blessing to be back here again. I love doing these podcasts, as everybody knows. But dude, I got some cool stuff to talk about. I wanted to talk about my Meridian tapping. I had a guy call me up. I had to write all my shit down here really quickly. I had a guy hit me up. They got a lead that we've been nurturing since 2004. Guys, through our different systems. He hit us up yesterday and wants us to do a CMA and help him sell his house when he gets back from visiting his first granddaughter. And dude, I went out and I talked to my buddy Carlos, because as you know, Rockstar Connect is the company that's helping me do all these meetups and everything else, right? Well, dude, I mean, it is unreal. Dude, I went out to meet Carlos and kind of check in at his house and everything else, and he's been a buddy of mine for a long period of time. But what I did is I went out and I just gave him advice not to list his house and not to sell his house. And his house had so many foundation problems that it wasn't even funny, but it's the power of telling a client no, that it is not the right thing for you to do. And it's incredible to actually go do that instead of just trying to take and get someone into a listing situation right off the bat. It's rewarding not to try to push and not to have commission breath. It's good stuff. And then ultimately, Matt, guess what I'm going to do near the end of the show? I am going to play a message from a Dildo Baggins who is trying to heckle me and be a troll to me. And if anyone know who this is, I would love for you guys to give me the real contact information for this asswipe who's been trying to call me from blocked numbers, and I'll play the message. It is a bit bizarre, to say the least.
It is bizarre. I heard it. All right. Well, let's bring our guests, because I want to get to them. They have we have a time clock with them because they have a phone with a failing battery.
I forgot about that. Sorry, guys. My bad.
Yeah. So we don't want to let Greg wax too poetic here. So first of all, Marc Aschoff and Mike Zonin, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, Matt. Hey, Greg. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you reaching out, and we're excited to have you guys.
Absolutely. You guys I've already talked with Marc a couple of times. I was on his podcast. And dude, these guys are little ninja geniuses when it comes to buying investment properties. So you guys better get your fucking pencils and pens out, those prehistoric writing, utensils. Or if you're a millennial, get your thumbs ready on your smartphone. Start taking some notes, because it's going to be worth your while.
Yeah. So
get your thumbs ready. Yeah, Marc, go ahead. Give us the backstory of how you guys came to start working together.
Well, that's what. So basically, me and Mike went to. I went to University of Pittsburgh, and he went to Rutgers University, and we graduated in 2013, the same year. But going into our junior year, we were working during the summers, and we were building up extra cash, and we kind of got the idea of purchasing a home as a rental property, kind of build something for retirement. We didn't really know what we were doing. It was just an idea that we threw around, and it was kind of like a fun project just to explore. Fast forward a couple years later, after searching through, I don't know, we looked at a bunch of different properties before we made our first choice.
Different colleges, different areas.
We first started at Rutgers University, but we didn't have the money for that. So then we moved over to Pennsylvania, where it's a little bit less expensive.
Okay.
We didn't have money, and we didn't have credit.
So you're a double threat.
That could be a problem, yeah.
So Marc didn't have a credit score at 23 years old.
21.
So 21 years old.
A credit score. I didn't have a need for a credit card.
So every single bank that we went to go pull credit, and there was a blank mark next to Marc's name every time.
So I wasn't really financially, I guess, fit. I don't know what the words are, but I wasn't good enough for a bank to get a loan at that point.
Right.
But fast
You're
forward.
insulting it.
And again, it was probably ended up being a good thing, because had we made the purchase for the first property we found, it wouldn't have been nearly as good of a deal as the ones that we had picked up as we gotten older.
Okay.
Interesting.
But while this was all happening, Mike was a civil engineer.
Yeah, I grew. So I went to Rutgers. I studied civil engineering. About 3 months after I graduated college, I bought a property with another friend, not Marc, which was by TCNJ.
Yeah.
And I went through 4 years of working in the engineering field, and Marc and I bought another. We probably have 6 or 7 properties now.
Yeah.
And I quit my full-time engineering job, and now we're all full-time real estate. So, but what I would what I would recommend from the beginning, and we made a lot of mistakes, and we had a lot of fights, and I have people calling me. I actually spoke to a little Korean kid a couple weeks ago. He had called me because he had listened to my podcast. Marc and I were in the New York Times, and he called me. He said, I saw your article in the New York Times, and I saw you were flipping houses with friends, and I really want to know exactly, what the best way to do this is. So he had me on the phone for like an hour and a half, and I answered about 100 different questions. And I've met up with a ton of people. Like, everyone from my town contacts me in order to, like, if they have any real estate related questions.
Well,
so hold on.
Okay.
Marc doesn't let anyone talk here.
No, well, the issue is the reason why, particularly he's been a point of contact is, and I'd like to think me to some degree, is we've made all the mistakes. We've made every mistake, or not every mistake. I'm sure we're going to make tons of mistakes in the future, but we made a lot of silly mistakes up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one mistake you didn't make was the shared housing. So take us through. I want to make sure that we hit that just in case your guys' battery fails you, and give people like a really good tactic to think about. So if they're young and they're thinking about buying their first or second or whatever property, kind of let us know how the shared housing thing kind of helps them do that.
So the first property we did shared housing with was outside of Lehigh University. Okay. Right, and shared housing concept. If I don't know how well it would fare in a suburban community where it's a bunch of families with kids. I don't know how well that would fare. Being outside of the Lehigh University, there was definitely a shared housing need, because the people around that area, whether it was work, going to school, all had to be in that area, and there wasn't necessarily a bunch of availability for them to be in. So we ended up, and this property that we had found, it was actually a bank-owned property, and probably one of the best deals that we might ever do. Hopefully we'll find a better deal than this, but definitely one of the best deals we've ever done. We ended up leasing it out to 2 students and one individual that worked at the casino nearby. Okay. And we were at they all had different needs, right? And it was definitely more work. But to some degree, and Mike can comment on this, but the reward was there as well.
Yeah, I mean, so people always want an affordable rent, and in these lower class areas, where money isn't falling off the trees, these people are able and willing to live together, so they can afford to live. Because now what we've done is we've created a rent that's $500, and you get a bedroom, and then you share a kitchen and bathrooms, but you get a bedroom and a dwelling to sleep in, and it's
a bigger space,
and it's affordable for everyone. So based on, with a shared living situation, it's better for the tenants, and it's better for the landlord. the tenants have to get along obviously.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more work on our part, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not placing one tenant or one group of tenants. We're placing 3 different tenants hypothetically.
Yeah.
So
and not everyone gets along all the time. Like today,
What? College students don't get along all the time?
that's weird.
Yeah, no, believe me. Especially in Bethlehem, no, not a lot of people get along over there. Everyone is always
in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
That's ironic. Everyone comes like to Christmas to go to Bethlehem where Christ is born. Fuck you! All right, keep moving forward.
Goodness.
But
there's definitely more work, but if everything goes well, things can work out for both the tenant and the landlord.
Yeah, because essentially what you're able to do is you're able to get more rent than a single family would be willing to pay for that same house. So the only downside for you guys, essentially, obviously there's a little bit more work on the front side with putting multiple tenants in, right, instead of like a husband-wife couple where it's one application. But the other side of it is just, are they going to do a good job of keeping up your property? So are you building in kind of rehab costs and just assuming that every couple of years you go in and redo all the carpet, all the paint? Or are you just super, super picky on who you put in there to try to get people that are, willing to keep up the property? So which way do you guys go?
Kind of both.
You try to be picky and just plan on replacing everything?
Both, because some people, now we've learned our lesson. We're not putting any more dogs or cats in the house.
Yeah.
Because well, actually, cats and dogs and rugs don't mix at all. So anyone who has dogs and cats, don't keep them near the rugs, please, because we've had many complaints and many phone calls and many arguments, and that's like the worst thing is dogs, cats, and rugs.
But in terms of general upkeep, right? The particular area in Bethlehem, it's not. It's fine. It's a good dwelling. But the buildings there are all. What would you say? How old are all the buildings?
They're 150 years old.
Oh, you think they're that old? That's what I'm saying. So they were never in pristine condition to begin with, and there is general upkeep, but it's not as crazy. We're not replacing marble flooring here.
So let me ask you guys this. So you guys are at what point do you hit your break even point? How many tenants do you need to put in the house to break even on these mortgages that you're carrying?
6 years.
Oh, on the mortgage,
monthly.
Monthly?
Yeah. So you have, let's say, a $1,000 mortgage. You obviously want to put more than 2 people in. You put 3 to 4 in, right?
All right. So out of the 7 properties we have in Bethlehem, the mortgages vary anywhere from about from $0. Well, no, the mortgages.
If we don't have a mortgage, there's no mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. So the mortgages vary from about $200 to about $900.
No.
What?
Okay.
Well, they're $500, something like that.
So you guys are getting properties for 50, 60 grand tops, right?
No, the 100.
Or you just putting that much down?
$5 grand, and then you also have to pay property taxes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the cash flow per property is it definitely varies a good amount, and we've always been able to cover expenses. The goal is obviously
without a problem.
Yeah, we've been able to cover expenses without a problem, even when we have bad months. Let's say they were vacant or something like that.
A lot of our housing is college students, so it especially towards the beginning of our real estate career, we were aiming towards renting out to college students. So the first 3 houses we bought were all college rentals. Actually, the first five were college rentals, and now we kind of invested in areas outside in the inner city, paying anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000.
Yeah, no, it's outside the college area has a little bit. It seems like a little bit of a, I don't want to say bubble because I don't know if it's going to burst or anything, but it seems like it has a protected area where it's much more expensive to get a college home. But if and again, going outside the college area, there's still plenty of young professionals that are probably to live with each other. It's probably a little bit more work for our part and a little bit less demand. But as long as we can be patient and hustle for it, we could probably match a few good tenants in in the bedrooms over there.
Yeah, and the college rentals are more or less very similar to our shared living situations.
Oh yeah.
Where we have a group of students that are living together. They're more friendly usually with each other.
Well, didn't you have the one TC&J student get kicked out by the other girls? Or something?
Yeah, well, there's always. I have a house not in Bethlehem, but in Central Jersey.
The college in New Jersey.
And they wound up, getting rid of this one girl because she was just inviting too many people over, having parties,
that hussy.
Yeah, I mean, they're all. I mean, it's all. Majority, not all, but majority of our tenants are just people who are friends.
So I have a friend of mine down in Santa Barbara, Kevin, and he went down there one weekend and never came back. And he has been buying properties, doing exactly what you guys are doing, slowly but surely buying homes, and then he's dividing them up with rentals. And he can charge, I'm not sure what you guys can charge, but he's putting 2-3 beds per bedroom, charging $1,500 a month per bed to foreign students coming in to go to Santa Barbara. And he cleans the fuck up. He has like 4 or 5 properties now, probably 20 to 25 or not more. Students paying $1,500 a pop.
That's right. What is that? There you go, guys. The future is bunk beds.
We need to get on the next plane over there then.
Also, foreign students have been a very good. I mean, they're not the clean. Some countries aren't the cleanest countries. Don't bring over the distance, I should say.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
All right. We won't go down that path too far. That's funny though. All right. So.
And Midwesterners aren't that clean either, I've heard, Matt.
Oh, stop it. We are the ultimate. We are the ideal renters. Are you kidding me? Midwesterners, solid as the day is long. All right, guys. So tell me a little bit about how you guys find your deals. What's the hustle look like for you guys? What's a day in the life of what you guys do to find the next deal?
It's we've pursued everything from online auction to bank owned property to your traditional sale.
Mm-hmm.
To give you a little,
aren't we doing? We're closing on Burkle, which is off-market deal, but that's an off-market deal. So
yeah, tell me about the off-market deal. So where did that come from?
Properties have been referred to us by walking in. Sometimes we walk into a property and the agent's like, "Oh, if you're an investor, I have another 3 properties that I'd like to show you." Sure. So that aren't on the market or that are going to come on the market or something like that. Other areas have been, and there's a website called hubzoo.com.
That was where we did the online auction.
And that was an online auction.
But yeah, if you get your name known, people are either trying to sell you a property or buy your property or whatever the case.
And I was at eviction. I was evicting a tenant a couple months ago, and I met another landlord in there, and he gave me his number, and he wanted me to sell. He wanted to sell his houses to me, and I took a look at them, and I had no interest in them at all, and I could see exactly why he wanted to sell them.
Yeah. But you guys have been networking. You're networking with agents. You're networking with investors, and so you get your name out there, and you let people know essentially what you guys do and what you're looking for.
All the time, you share your goal. People are looking to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
The most unique opportunities though was definitely the online auction and getting the bank-owned property. The bank-owned property deal that we got, that was by far the best deal I think we've ever done.
Okay, so when you guys are buying these properties, what is the most common maintenance issue that you guys are running into that people should be aware of if they're going to go out and buy similar properties, copy you guys? What have you learned on your first couple of properties that now you perfected on kind of keeping that eagle eye out there, so you're not buying a dog, that's going to take more money than you originally planned? What are some of those aspects you need to be aware of?
Maintenance costs. Maintenance costs are, so if you're buying a home that's 10 years old, the maintenance cost is going to be a lot different than a house that's 150 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So especially in areas like Bethlehem, Pennselsvania, where it's like
we got to have a lot of room for error.
It's 200. Yeah, it's a 200-year-old. It's 200-year-old.
But I think the biggest thing that we learned over time was definitely location.
Yeah. Location.
Right. I mean, you look at 520s Morton, right? And that wasn't the best location, but the price was too good to be true.
Yeah.
Right. So and that's where it made up for the opportunity. You know,
So what do you mean by the price is literally too good to be true because of the location, or
the location was maybe average or slightly below average, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was the most desirable part of the city in terms of particularly, its proximity to Lehigh University, which has
Right.
the higher demand over there. It wasn't bad. It just was maybe just slightly below average, but the purchase price was so low that the extra risk or the extra risk you would take on of having to wait to get a tenant was well worth it, at least in our opinions, because how
Right.
cheap the property was.
Gotcha. So you build in lots of margin for error. Just give me I don't know if you can break it down to kind of a percentage, but I've heard it said, and I know an investor that thinks in these terms. Just basically, you'll go in, look at the rent, and he's paying 10% of the rent on top of that to a property management company. That's supposed to cover all of his ongoing maintenance costs and stuff like that. Have you guys figured out kind of a percentage that you guys figure? Do you just try to build it in to where it's 20 or 30% of the rent you can put towards maintenance costs if you have to?
Well, we look, at least what we do, I try to make a spreadsheet before purchasing it, and we'll look at the ROI, right? And what we do is we try to, I don't know, shoot for anywhere in terms of expenses. We'll probably add more miscellaneous expenses, and in terms of what we'll actually rent it out, we'll probably subtract, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 20%. And if the ROI is above a certain threshold, right, and we look at everything conservatively, then even if it was the worst case scenario, the deal would still make sense.
Yeah. So what is that threshold? I mean, what are your numbers? I mean, some people have absolutely no idea where to start. I mean, can you ballpark it? Give it specifics. What does it look like?
Yes. And
sorry, we lost you for a second. Can you repeat that?
Oh, threshold. What's your ROI threshold? I mean, where does that delta?
Yeah, essentially what's worth it for you.
I mean,
it all determines. It really all. It's all on the area. It all.
So it's a combination of risk versus reward, right? So if it's a super duper location, where we know we can rent out and a snap of a finger, then we don't look at for as much return, right? Because in our opinion, it's a safer bet. But if we could, I don't know.
It's kind of like this is what
we're not going to buy. We wouldn't buy a house that would earn us 3%, right?
Well, this is what some people buy in New York City, and 3% is great to them. And then, but they look at the appreciation aspect, where you're getting a lot more appreciation in New York than you are in Pennsylvania, and they're betting on the appreciation. But in Bethlehem,
we're not looking for
Bethlehem, we're not looking for any appreciation, but we're looking at a higher return. And with these higher return areas, it's a higher risk. New York is more of a low risk, low return area, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania is more of a high risk, high return area. So
yeah, but I think what he's getting at is like one home we'll pay $120,000 for, and another home we'll pay $60,000 for.
Yeah.
And if you look at why would we ever pay $120,000?
No, what I'm asking here is this, guys. I'm asking this. No matter what, every deal you have a percentage of a return you're trying to make based off of your purchase. So, I mean, are you at what percentage? Are you like, okay, I can't make more than a 2%, 3%, 10%, 20% return on my money. Therefore, the risk is not worth it. That's what I'm looking for. So let's do this. Let's do new, and then let's do old. Let's look at those two different ideas so people can have an idea.
So in Bethlehem, our first few properties were bought at about a 15 or 16% return.
No, the first property was probably like 10%.
Yeah, well, maybe 10 to 15%, let's say.
Yeah.
And now on some of our current properties, we're looking at 30 to 35.
Maybe
nice. Very cool.
Something around that. It's the one. Yeah. No, we've been perfecting.
Which sounds ridiculous. It sounds a little ridiculous.
But it's been going well. I mean, particularly, and look, there's definitely mistakes that happen, but we know what to look for because it's not our first rodeo, right? And every time we do it, it seems like we're either getting a deal that's equal to, or a little bit worse, or a little bit better from the last. But we're always trying to improve.
Yeah,
So Michael, you mentioned that there were a couple of properties that you said the guy's like, hey, come buy my properties. You're like, go fuck yourself. Why were you like, I'll pass, man. You got the ugly kid in the group. What's going on?
That area, and I drove by them, and the amount of work that I had to put into that property would not even cover what the property's worth. So if I
Wow.
Yeah, it's also a measure of time.
in
too.
some area, in this area, if you could put too much work into a house where the amount of work that you put in is over the value of the actual house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I came to when I saw these houses. I was like, it wouldn't even matter if I put $30,000 into the house, it would be over what it's worth.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Even though
makes
for a
sense.
long-term hold, you wouldn't get your money back and go cash on cash on a monthly basis to make it worthwhile. I mean, you hold it for 20 years. The neighborhood was that crap that you're just like, we're burning cash.
Well, why? Cash is, at least we rather be cash rich.
Welcome to America. So does everyone.
I'm not saying appreciation is a bad move, because for others it might be great, right? And if you buy, although Mike might disagree, but if you buy in New York at the right place at the right time, or if you buy in San Francisco at the right place at the right time, there could be huge appreciation gains. But we don't try to, nobody has a crystal ball, but we don't try to speculate in that capacity.
You're trying to make the deal work on the front end, not the back end.
On the rental capabilities.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's get into just in case we lose you. I want you to share the Zillow bank-owned property, because that was something that you guys covered on the podcast that people really latched onto.
So basically, we were looking, just doing. We're always searching, right? We're always on the hunt. We're always on the look for opportunity. And Zillow was the tool that we used. And I was searching around Zillow, and I saw this foreclosed property, and it had listed, I don't even know what the number was, some priced upon it. There was an agent attached to it, but I believe it was just I could be wrong, but I thought the agent might have just been paying for ad space. Called the agent, he wasn't familiar with the property, or he was, but it was owned by a bank. And basically, it was a lot of follow up with the bank, trying to get them to sell me the property.
Mm-hmm.
You would call. Probably, if I remember correctly, I probably left a voicemail. I don't know if anybody ever got back to me, but call the next day, keep asking for that person over and over and over, and then ask for the price that they're willing to sell it for. We went back and forth. I mean, Mike, I'm sure you saw the email chains, right? There had to be.
Yeah, Marc was my personal assistant on that one.
That's Greg tries to use me in that capacity too.
And then,
no, I succeed.
It was very so. It was so the property was about to go up for auction.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know when. No, actually, forgive me. This property was very unique. Property went up for auction.
Sheriff sale.
Was it sheriff sale? I don't know.
Whatever. It went up for sheriff sale. It didn't sell.
And it didn't sell. But what happened, I believe, and for whatever reason, it didn't sell. I don't know why. I think it was the price that it was appraised at, or the starting price was very high. But what had happened is, when they originally appraised the property, it was only an external appraisal. They didn't actually do an internal appraisal. So they had no idea what the condition, or at least what the bank described to me, is they didn't know what was inside the property, right?
Okay.
So when they were to unload the property again, they said you needed to give us $50,000 or something like that.
Okay.
And
and Marc was going to go for the $50,000.
I still thought it was a good deal at the time. Anyway, Mike said,
and then I said, I'm not paying $50,000 for this piece of crap house,
which we haven't even seen.
And then, so I said, give them an offer of $30,000 and see what they say.
Basically, at that point, the bank had a rule they had to sell it for a percentage of what it was appraised for. They had never done an internal appraisal. They came and did another internal appraisal at our request, right? Which was very common and a little bit, too convenient for us. I mean, convenient that they did it. It took tons of emails and phone calls to get them to do an appraisal again.
Right.
And it ended up appraising for around, I don't know, around
My
39,000.
offer, 30,000.
No. It appraised for around 39,000, and
But it was within the percentage, right?
Yeah, so we were, and I think we're even a little bit less than that. But they let it sell for the purchase price of $30,000.
Wow.
And it was almost it seemed like they just wanted to get rid of it.
The place was a shithole.
You know,
right.
For 30 grand, yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. So, but that same property.
Yeah, that won't buy a parking space where Greg's at.
Marc wouldn't walk into it. Marc wouldn't even walk into the property when we saw it.
There's a lot. I think
like, I'm gonna get.
Had you not got your tetanus shot recently, or what's the deal?
He's like, I'm gonna get fleas.
There was fleas.
I'm gonna get fleas.
On my bike. So
just go in. You just go in armed with a flamethrower.
I didn't have my hands dirty.
We're gonna bring bug spray now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's funny. All right. So you track the bank down. You force them to do an appraisal. They appraise it. It falls within their percentage. They pull the trigger. They're like, all right, yeah, we'll finally sell it to you. So they finally pull the trigger and decide they're going to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was a pretty smooth situation. We got hooked up with an investor too that helped pay for the majority of it.
Nice.
And was property. And now we are managing it, and now it's, and the other beautiful thing too, and it was so funny because we just got a new tax bill in the mail. The taxes on it initially were like $600 a year, so which was a total joke. They just raised it to $2,400. Not that that's crazy expensive, but literally the monthly expenses were like $50 a month.
That's funny. Cool, man. So no, it's basically part of the portfolio. It's cash flow positive.
So here's the kicker is this is why I think this is the best deal we'll ever get. It's rented out for $2,200 a month.
Whoa!
Good God.
So we're looking at about 2.5 years of being paid off.
That's fantastic.
Obviously, probably 3.5 with maintenance and everything.
Right. Yeah,
that is absolutely amazing.
Exterminator fees.
Yeah.
So please don't tell people like Bethlehem is a gold mine, but no one should go invest there.
That's right.
yeah. That's funny. Like that disclaimer comes now during the show.
Yep. Do as I say, not as I do.
Do not invest in my little gold mine, you sons of bitches.
Right. Well, you'll be relieved to know we don't have a massive following in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Not yet, we don't.
They usually don't have phones out there.
Matt, they could be sleeper cells. We just don't hear from them. We just don't know.
That's true. That's true. I've never seen anyone comment on our Facebook Lives and said they're from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, or really anywhere in Pennsylvania except for maybe Philly. Our little bald ninja, our evil bald ninja, Gene Volpe is from Philadelphia, and some of our other past guests. So
yeah,
that's about it.
So guys, for budding investors, what's the first step to go find someone that has some cash to break into this business, man? I mean, where should they go? And we lost them. I'm like, yeah, where'd you guys go?
Yeah, exactly. And if we don't get them back, their podcast is Millennial Flips. I know they were having issues with their phone, and we were lucky to have them. So, guys, just real quick before we lose you again, I mentioned the podcast Millennial Flips, which they should get on iTunes. But give us kind of a closing piece of advice for the Marc and Mike 3 years ago.
Oh, the best piece of advice that I would give is be careful investing with friends and just make sure you have everything laid out in the beginning before you invest with friends, and make sure you're accommodating throughout the process, and I don't know, just it's tough dealing with other people as partners. That's my
I'd agree with that. Marc, how about you?
I can give you, now looking back 3 years from now, is don't take advice from Marc Aschoff.
Something that like you were talking about, Mike, is that when Matt and I sat down 2.5+ years ago to really start this whole podcast game, we sat down and had a real honest conversation with each other of like the different roles, the different expectations, who's going to do what and who was going to do and when was it going to be done. And we hammered that out at the beginning before we even got started to make sure that like once we got rolling, we wouldn't step on each other's toes, we wouldn't irritate each other.
And that's why your podcast is so successful.
You know, I take it back. So the best piece of advice I could give is to really expect the unexpected, particularly in the areas that you would never expect the unexpected.
So it's basically like a marriage.
Up and beyond, you know, fighting with friends and stuff like that. But there have been curveballs that have come out of nowhere. Particularly one of the things that, you know, is an example, and I've made mistakes on tax situations in terms of coming to real estate, and it's every corner. You know, when you buy something that's tangible, it's easy to think that you know everything that you can see. Everything you can see is everything you need to worry about. But there's so much more than that, and it's okay because we're still probably going to run into curveballs. But the best thing is not to get upset about it, right? Even if things don't go as planned, it's because what I find is people spend so much time over lost opportunity, where they just learn from the experience and move on, and learn from the decision and move on. It's
well, there's always another deal.
How much time did we spend making a decision to buy the 534 Montclair?
Yeah,
so much time, right? Yeah. And that was probably one of our worst deals, right? Right. We spent all of this time trying to have the perfect thing, and it just led to being one of the worst deals. And we didn't know that till now, but and again, right? It's not the end of the world. You just keep on, you pick up and on, and you go forward.
I want to clarify something. When you say worst deal, are you still making money on it?
We are. But
okay. Then it's still a good deal.
It's so yeah. I mean, look, it's not like anything's particularly bad, but it's from the delta in terms of I shouldn't say delta, but the difference in cash flow versus expenses.
Right.
Isn't that our closest?
Yeah.
That's our closest gap.
Right?
We're probably potential cash flow versus the expenses. Yeah. That's the closest the gap.
And you know, and something else that I mean, a lot of viewers should be watching either now or on the recorded version is that you guys need to understand what you want out of an investment property. Do you want monthly cash on cash, or are you doing the equity play long term? Because you're most likely not going to get both unless you're the luckiest son of a bitch in the world. I mean, like you guys want to be cash on cash, you know, on a monthly basis. Give me the money, honey, so I can pay down the mortgage. I can roll it over, take my asset base, and then 1031 at some point into a larger project. I'm assuming that's going to be probably a play for you guys because you don't want to buy one-offs all day long. Why not go buy a 200-unit complex somewhere, have a professional management company take care of it, and just ride the gravy train for a while. But make your decision on what you want, guys. And it's good to have a variety pack in your portfolio. Some equity plays and really like your crown jewels. The other ones give you your cash so you can pay down the crown jewels. It's really talk with a consultant, talk with someone you trust, but make sure that you know what you want before you go after it. Like anything else, have goals, or I call them projects when it comes to your future. And then once you set up a mindset going towards a certain project or goal, the world will open up around you to get you to that goal. But if you don't know if you want cash, or if you don't know you want the crown jewels, they're never going to show up in your life because you have no idea what you're looking for. And you guys made that decision early forward to know what you guys were looking for. So that's really a good move you guys did.
Yeah, well, it just gave us the most peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
But so there's other ways to be winners too.
That's right. Well, cool, guys. Well, besides checking out Millennial Flips on iTunes, how else can they connect with you and link up either on social media or email, just if they want to connect and build relationships with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they can. So Marc and I had kind of, aside from real estate, we had started our own beverage business, and what we do now, I quit my full-time job and we do real estate, and we also are a distributor of these weird beverages, and we have a website also. It's Tribeca Beverage company.com.
No, Tribeca Beverage.
TribecaBeverageCompany.com.
No, it's TribecaBeverage.com.
Or maybe it's TribecaBeverage.com. Sorry.
TribecaBeverage.com. Okay.
And people can visit us there. We have our email address and
phone
number
attached. You can always contact us there.
Okay.
There's also, you can look us up on Facebook.
We have a Millennial Flips website too. Right?
No, we don't.
Oh, we don't.
I don't know. We might
We'll build one after this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time anybody sees this in podcast form or hears it after the fact, there may be a website for Millennial Flips.
There may be.
All right, cool guys. Well, hey, we'll let you go before we lose you permanently due to battery. I know you guys are like on location, so keep killing it.
All right, thank you.
Hey, thank you so much.
Hey, you guys are awesome. Have a great day, guys.
All right, bye-bye. You too.
All right, awesome, Greg. So Young Guns up there, very, very cool strategy. I like that, and that's not the first time I've heard that. There's another young guy that I ran into in the Go Abundance organization named Diego Corzo. He was interviewed by a client of ours over on the Real Estate Mogul podcast, and he does something similar. He bought a house. He lives in one of the bedrooms, rented out the other 2 or 3 bedrooms to not students, but young professionals, right? So he takes a little bit different spin on it where he takes a little bit more time and he's able to rent out homes in, like they mentioned, suburbia. Like their strategy wouldn't work super well in suburbia. His appears to work in suburbia because he's not going after students necessarily. He's going after young single professionals just out of college working their first, 1, 2, or 3 jobs or whatever. And they're in the exact same position as a student, but they're not quite in party mode. So there's a little bit less chance of them destroying your house. And so there's a couple different ways to skin that cat. But I like his, he's got a few, I think he's got 7 or 8 properties, and he's almost completely financially independent. And so that allows him to work in real estate. He's a licensed agent. He owns the house that he lives in, shares it with a couple of roommates who pay all the mortgage for him. His other properties pay the rest of his living expenses, and then he's able to kind of do what he wants to do, build his real estate business.
It's unique, Matt, thinking about that. If you guys could go out and find an older property that maybe 3, 4, 5 bedrooms or whatnot, and then each of them either are en suites, so each room is basically its own master. You could charge a hefty amount for that. They share a kitchen. It's like an apartment building, but it's all in one house. I think that could be a way of going down the road in the future, especially if we're breaking into dense urban marketplaces. I mean, I'm thinking of like Oakland, because everyone from San Francisco is coming over to Oakland. Get a 3-bedroom. Don't rent it out to just one family. Customize it a little bit on the interior so that it can be more of a communal living situation, kind of like what they're doing. But it's risky because, if you have one tenant that's a nightmare, then the other 2 tenants may bail. Then you're going to be left holding the bag because you have a nightmare tenant that won't move out. So you're fucked if you do and you're fucked if you don't. But, at least you have a better odds of getting your money with multiple tenants in there. And there should be a strong vetting process of who the tenants are, having the other tenants meet each other, really vetting this out because they are going to be literally living together. It's just interesting. And, a lot of the people that are messaging me are pretty interested in the idea. They're wondering if it would work in their area. We had one of our listeners say that he was 3 hours away and he was getting in his car and heading to their city right away.
That's right. So they might run into Michael tripping over him for deals.
Yep.
All right, Greg, are you ready to? I'm ready to hear this hater message. This is not quite Greg reads mean tweets, but it's as close as we can get because this is an actual whatchamacallit. This is an actual message. So you won't have to read this. You'll actually hear the original message because the guy was nice enough not to leave his name.
What a fucktard. Okay, let me get to messages. Phone. Voicemails. All right, Johnson, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Let's go speaker.
Hey, Greg McD, Frankie DeLuca here. Listen, I got a hot lead for you, Greggy. All right, I know you're out there in the East Bay kicking up a lot of dust. I see you online. You got the presence. You got the vibe. I think we're going to go with you, Greggy. Why don't you give me a call back here? Actually, you really think I would give you a fucking listing, Greggy? You? Come on, Greg, I wouldn't trust you with a chicken and an egg farm and a foxhole. You know what I mean, Greggy? I wouldn't trust you with a goddamn pencil sharpener, let alone my real estate. All right? Greggy, listen, man, I don't like what you're doing out here, Greggy. I see your little videos. I see you messing with people. I know you like to put extra cheese on your taco, Greggy. You're a sick fuck, Greggy. I know you're a sick fuck, Greggy. I know what you're up to out here, Greggy. We're going to put an end to this, all right? No more cold calls. You're calling my friends. You're calling all our people all over Walnut Creek. You're calling Clayton. You're calling Orinda. You're probably calling fucking Sacramento for all I know, Greg. You're way out of bounds doing shows in L.A. We got to talk, Greggy. I'm going to call you back, all right?
I don't know who that tool bucket is, man, but oh my God.
So
I've gotten more messages than once.
Was it a fake name up front?
Fuck if I know, dude. That's Frankie DeLuca.
Frankie DeLuca, yeah.
I've gotten that message. He's called me 2 times. One time, and they're from blocked numbers, so I'm just like, fuck you, I'm not picking up that number. I don't know who you are. And dude, he's like, first time he was serious. He was like, hey, fuck you, man, don't fucking do it. I don't like what you're doing. The real person wouldn't do it. I don't like this. I'm like, wrong podcast, sir. Mm-hmm. And then this one, I just listened to it. And I just started giggling to myself. I'm like, everybody's a telephone tough guy, about like their fucking thoughts on everything. So if anybody knows who Frankie DeLuca is, hit me up with his real phone number, and I'll have a conversation with shit, man. We'll have a conversation live on air with him. That would be interesting.
That would be fun.
But yes, that is the version of Greg gets mean voice messages from random ass fools.
Oh man, there's just such a rich vein of douchebaggery there that we could dive into. But a couple of things that stick out to me, like no more cold calls, no more cold calling. You're calling all over the place. I'm like, isn't that what you're supposed to do as an agent? Like you're marketing yourself, like like you're not breaking the law. You're not calling people that don't want to be called. If they say they don't want to be called, you take them off the list. Mm-hmm. Like it's one of those. It's very it's a combination of agent who feels threatened, combined with this old school mentality that it's not okay to market or lead generate, that you just have to work off a referral, and God forbid you step on some other agent's toes as if they have a right to their market or their area or their sphere of influence. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can keep calling me and leaving me funny messages because I'll keep blowing you up on fucking air. I have no problem with that. Someone will know your bitch ass. And we'll get in touch together. But yes,
I see your little videos, kicking up some dust out there. Like, oh man, that was funny.
But you know what, guys? Hey, the reason why I shared that one because it was absolutely epically hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny.
But I also wanted to show you that even though Matt and we're building a bigger and bigger platform, we're being seen more and more people. We're going to get whack jobs, bag of dicks like that guy. You know what? You're going to get the same haters, but on a different level of agents that are threatened by you. And don't let someone intimidate you ever if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing to get the business that you're supposed to be getting and doing what you need to do in this industry. Top producers, middle producers, bottom producers, everyone's got a mouth and an asshole. Which one are you going to pay attention to? Because one of them is going to be spitting something out. And I would much rather be got the nose pinch fucking finally, 48 minutes in.
Oh, yeah, this is the third one. What are you talking about? You got the nose pinch before you even went live.
Oh, sweet. But my point is that, guys, don't let anybody intimidate you for any way, shape, or form. If you're getting phone calls that are stupid like that one, or if you're getting people that are trying to bully you around, I was talking with Lily, Matt, the other day, and she was getting a little, people were everyone's trying to tell her different information about stuff. And I said, babe, put your head down and just start grinding. Don't listen to any of these other idiots because everyone's got an opinion about something that doesn't affect that isn't you. So they're going to say don't do or do something my way, this way, or another way, when you need to find your own way and just dig in like an Alabama tick and not look up or around for anything. Just keep going for what you know is true and what you like. And I think that people get so many. I get so many people that are always trying to persuade, and I watch it in the industry because I always see that door right there, the door that's closed. That thing stays closed for a reason, because I don't want to hear the bullshit. I don't want to hear the rumors. I don't want to hear any of the BS because, I want to keep my head down. I want to work. I want to do my job. I want to do my calls, even though Frankie DeLuca doesn't like the fact that I do my fucking calls, So, you know what? I'm never going to stop. And I encourage you guys to never stop as well. Because it's like when you get mean tweets or anything else, or people are talking shit behind you, dude, you should give that person a high five. Like, what up, player? Hell yeah. That means I'm doing something right and I'm scaring the fuck out of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking about me. That's a compliment. A big compliment.
Yes, it is.
So, Michael,
that's your Grant Cardone rant for the day. I have one thing to contribute on that, which is that agents a lot of times and I know you've heard this, Greg, 1,000 times, which is they tried some form of marketing or lead generation, and they got one person a prospect or an agent who didn't like it, and everything comes to a screeching halt because they got a little bit of pushback. You know, they go out door knocking once and they end up with one person who says, you know, you ignore my no soliciting sign and slams the door on their face, and they never door knock again. They pick up the phone and they do cold calls and they have one uncomfortable conversation, or they reach one agent who gets ticked off of them and they never make a cold call again. That people get stopped by stupid things like that, not realizing that is going to happen, and it should have been expected to begin with, and you shouldn't let it stop you. People are, no matter what type of thing you do, no matter what form of marketing it takes, you will never please anybody. In fact, if you are pleasing everybody, it's probably because you're not doing enough of it, or you're not saying anything significant that offends anyone.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I by the way, dude, I got to tell you, I am blessed beyond words. I got to talk with a chick, Hava, today out of LA spontaneously from our past videos. I booked her, and you know, a billion years out for training. Right. But I talked to Isaac, a young guy. He's in Colorado. He's like, dude, because of watching you do live cold calls, I started doing cold calls, and guess what? He got a listing from it. And so, nice. You know, that's why I always do it. It's because I like to show people that it's not difficult. It's not hard. If you get pushback, you get told F off, fine. Yeah, that's going to happen. But you're also going to meet amazing, wonderful, incredible people that are going to enrich your life, and you can enrich theirs. And people only talk about the fear side of the business because that's the most potent side. People, you know, will not talk about the most positive side in life. They always talk about the negative. Look at the ads that you read and watch. They're all fear-based advertisements. When you talk to someone about their weekend or something that's going on in their life, majority of the time they're going to tell the negative part of their life because it's sexier, it's juicier, it's something that they can really dig in because with some emotion to it. Hardly ever will someone say, oh, my husband or wife did something super special for me. It's going to be like, oh, these fucking kids, man. My kids, I hate my fucking kids. Blah, 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 blah. But in reality, it's like, dude, you shouldn't be focusing on the negative part. Focus on the wonderful part that you never talk about, because it's easier to talk about the negative than the positive. That's why negative mindset is so powerful, because it consumes you. I mean, I got 2 good deals yesterday, and I lost one deal because, thank you Verizon, this thing didn't ring. It's the second person who said they called and they couldn't get a hold of me. So one of my buyers went and wrote an offer with another agent. Now, which one did I meditate on? I meditated on the loss of the deal instead of putting that $1.4 million home on the market and setting the CMA. Why did I not spend more time there? Because it was easier to focus on the negative. And we have to be aware to step away from that mindset, the lack mindset, and focus on the growth or the ample mindset, where you can be thankful for things. Do affirmations. Lily and I do 10 affirmations every single day. We also do, the 3 things in our day that are unmovable. Like, these are 3 rocks that you're going to do every single day with purpose. And when you start off your day with that mind shift, Matt, I know that you do a lot of stuff, a lot of studying, a lot of meditation and prayer for you. And it helps you move through difficult things in life and into the more gratitude mindset, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I've kind of gotten out of writing down the things that I'm grateful for, and I need to get back into that. Because it definitely helps. And it is difficult to kind of focus on the positive sometimes. I think one of the mistakes that I made when I was younger was I assumed if I could just structure my life correctly, that I could hit a point where most or all of the elements that were important to me in life were moving forward at the same time. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Not that everything was perfect, but that everything was moving forward and it was making progress in every area.
Right.
And I've realized that that's not, like, every area of your life is kind of a cycle, right? And it's out of sync with each other, right? So everything is kind of moving in its own kind of cycle, and some things are going to be up and some things are going to be down. And whether you come out of that day sensing whether it was positive or negative really depends on what you focus on. And so I'm definitely not as disciplined as I can be, but things like gratitude, things like meditation, things like prayer, things like, when you have a problem come up, you revisit your goals, you focus on that positive image of you hitting your goals in your mind. All of that stuff, like, we have to have those different tools in our arsenal, because our mind, if we let it go, it automatically goes to the negative because that's what's easy. And we're used to replaying that stuff over and over again.
Yeah, we are. Actually, Matt, you brought up a good point. Actually, I spent part of the day today. I'm going to share my screen really quickly with everyone. So guys, I'm reworking my dreams, my goal, I call them my 2-year projects now. So if you guys are on iTunes, you're listening to this, please go to my Facebook page right now and you'll be able to take a look at my videos and you'll see it. These are my goals, my projects, my 2-year projects. And Matt, you're added into a couple of these here. Like I want us to be, have 180 agents on our real estate team by the end of 2018 by recruiting 15 new agents every single month. Have 400,000 monthly downloads of the podcast. Have our team ranked in the top 50 teams on Forbes of production by 2019. Be very
Forbes ranked teams.
Yeah, by Forbes magazine, they rank real estate teams. Income projections by month, by years. I put and I put images everywhere. Matt, this room might look a little familiar to you because that looks oddly.
Are you sharing your screen?
Motherfucker, you don't see it?
No.
God damn it. Share.
There we go. Now we're going. Now we're cooking with grease.
Damn it. Okay, here it is, guys. My 2-year projects. I took out goals and I put them as projects, but projects, psychologically, you work through projects and you have to achieve goals. If you don't achieve the goal, it can negatively affect your mindset. And I put some timing in here. So my financial goals, 300,000 by the end of 2018, 500,000 or more, 2019. I always put a plus. And I put things that are achievable for what Matt, you and I are doing. I put some goals over here, you and I to work on, the 400,000 downloads here, recruiting 15 new agents, be the most famous real estate podcast in the business. We're helping hundreds of thousands of agents around the world every month. All of these things. I put images in here. Like, Matt, doesn't that kind of look like the room that we spoke in down in LA? I mean, not the same size, but generally with the 2 doors and everything else. I put this in years ago and I recognized it. Yeah. Some ideas about fun and everything here. What I want to do, go down to the British Virgin Islands and with a super hot chick. And be really, really specific on everything that you want to achieve, goal, fitness, dreams, everything else. And yes, I did achieve that, by the way. And I wrote down some really clear things in my life that I wanted in all these different areas. And I needed to go back through it, but I have education. I have giving back to the world, ask, believe, receive. And I just put images that I want in here on a consistent basis. I mean, that's just a fucking sexy ass view, dude. Those full back doors. Oh, right. But yeah, I mean, that is what I, spend a lot of, like I was redoing it today and I had so much fun. I got invigorated. My subconscious started running wild with me about what I could do. I mean, I need to build another.
It's been a while. I've got one that I made a few years ago, but it didn't have images. It was more text graphic design heavy. And since then I have like a text, it's all words. I need to do that where I put it into a document and add images that express and call up those positive emotions. So yeah, that's something I need to do in the next couple of weeks.
And I sit and meditate on this thing, guys, because I take the dream book. This one, 2004, which I'm re-updating because I have taken tons of notes in this one. And I'm making it for a new version because a lot of those goals that back then are not what I want to do now. Right. And like if you want to do an investing or if you want to just get in a better place because you feel picked on or you just feel down because you're behind on your goals or projects for the year, dude, it's okay to readjust. It's not going to hurt you, but you need to have a defined direction to go in. Otherwise, you will never reach it.
That's right.
Anyway, I could hours on this, Johnson, so we better wrap this shit up.
Yeah, we do. All right, guys, go to getnowbusiness.com. New class is coming up. We are running it. First session, I believe, is Tuesday, August 8th. It's going to be on every Tuesday in August. There may be 5 or 7 of them. I don't know, but it's starting on the 8th for the rest of the month, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. So that class is all about how to put commission in your pocket in 90 days by working with the people that have a connection to you and a need for what you do. And we're going to teach you a 4-step marketing plan to identify, build out your inner circle, turn them into an army of people that are out there looking for deals for you, how to have conversations that convert into deals and referrals and close in 90 days. So that's what that's all about. Guys, then the show, make sure to follow us on YouTube, subscribe there, subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, depending on your handy-dandy mobile device. Because where do we want to be, Greg?
We want to be in your ears.
Where we so belong.
That's right. There.
All right, guys. And then make sure to follow Greg on Facebook. That way you get all of our notifications, or you can join Lead Gen Scripts and Objections Facebook group. You can join the Real Estate Uncensored Facebook group or fan page and all that stuff. Make sure to follow both of us. Do not friend either one of us on Facebook. Follow. They both start with the word F, but very big difference. You will go into the B, the purgatory, if you Facebook friend us. So keep that in mind, guys. Make sure to follow us. And then who do we have? We've got amazing guests on the show all week on Friday.
Well, thanks, Matt. I didn't know you viewed me as a great guest.
Nope, we're talking Rockstar Phone Skills with Dale Archdecken. This is a guy that trains the ISAs for Noah Ostrop's group up in Philly Living. So he is a Rockstar coach and ISA kind of talent developer on the phone in his own right. He's a Rockstar ISA before he moved into training them, and he's going to talk all about Rockstar Phone Skills. So if you guys want to be on the phone, you want to actually close deals, that is the episode for you. That's Friday.
That is good stuff. Guys, we do this because we love you. We want to see you succeed in the levels that you can never imagine. That's why Matt and I put out all this content. We're never going to stop. If we ever got whenever we get $50 million deposited by an anonymous donor into each one of our bank accounts, we will be coming to you 5 times a week. So you generous donors out there, if you want to deposit a mere $50 million in each of our accounts, we will do 2 more days of podcasting just for you. That's right. What a trade-off. Okay, guys, we love you. Peace out, ninjas. We gone.